Hi, and welcome back to ELT English Language Teachers Under the Covers. And today, by request, we are going to look again at Mind Your Language, delving back in to that minefield of cultural appropriation, stereotypes, cliches.
Appropriation?
Is it appropriation? I don't. I'm just using buzzwords here.
As far as I can tell, cultural appropriation, that's when you're sort of inspired by another culture, but someone doesn't like it, right? It's kind of like if I
Yeah.
started wearing a green T-shirt with a shamrock on it, and someone was like, "Yo, you're stealing that from the Irish."
Well, we do have a history being British of that, so. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a bit close to the bone there. But this time we are actually going to look at season 2 because we figure, hey, why not? But also, we know that there are some new students being added, so it kind of mixes it up a little bit. So we're going to look at season 2, episode 1. But
We're
I've
going for
not.
the jumping around the timeline. It's like Thanos. It's like the Avengers. It's called the Avengers, right?
But so with it. Yeah, cultural was a shamrock.
Mind your language.
It's
We're making mind your language like
it's like a
Avengers.
Christopher Nolan movie where just it's non-linear, completely non-linear. At some point, we're gonna try and move it all around. Oh, is that? We're just dropping knowledge
I'm going
bombs
a bit
here.
nuts today.
Speaking of nuts, I'm Neil Teacher of Team Teacher fame, and I'm joined today by the ever-loving, blue-eyed Professor Reach.
Hello, everybody. Like, subscribe, share on social media. Send it to your mother. That's my catchphrase. Send it to your mother, kids. Professor Reach, youtube.com/Professor Reach. Learn to speak English better than the Queen.
You should have like a barometer of like, this is English and this is Queen's English and you're here. Do like a Wayne's World?
Yeah, I don't use the Common European Framework anymore. I just use something like that.
And we will do a breakdown of his method shortly.
Language student, Batman, the Queen, Professor Reach. They're my levels.
You have reached Batman.
Yeah, you can say I'm Batman. It's like pre-intermediate. Okay.
Where does Pokemon fit? Where you just repeat your name?
Pika. Oh, that should be the first level, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think.
Pete, when you can just say your own name over and over again, Reach. That's like basic. And when you can say I'm Batman, you've moved up to pre-int.
I like this method.
The next one's the Queen. One does not think this is so. Or something, I don't know. I can't do the Queen's voice. How does she say? She says like awful, right? She says like a real awe. Not what the Queen wants. I've never
when
really
I do an
tried to do
impression of her, I mostly do the hand thing. I don't know how you actually get that accent without.
Wait a minute.
Purposely, intentionally trying to develop that.
I don't want to take the piss out of the Queen too much. I do live in the UK. You never know what she might do.
Yeah, she might be, coming through the window, coming through the chimney like some sort of Santa assassin. Gonna take you out on a date.
God save the Queen.
And then just never call you back because that's how she does it. Just breaks hearts, not heads. Okay, so Mind Your Language, season 2, episode 1. Can we cue that up? No. Same intro.
Uh-oh. No.
It's in the intro even.
I know. That's basically going to be the plot of the whole episode, what we just saw then.
Oh my gosh.
Good evening, Sydney.
Good evening, Miss Courtney. Just giving your door a bit of a touch-up. Did you have a nice holiday?
I had 7
What
days
was
in
with the
sunny
laughter?
Spain.
Pardon?
Sunny
She's
Spain.
touching
That's
up her
nice.
door, I guess.
Rained.
I suppose you enjoy those exotic Spanish dishes?
I got food poisoning.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did it rain every day?
Oh no, when I got food poisoning, the sun came out. When I got better, it went back in. Apart from the day before we left, that was absolutely glorious.
Well, at least you had one good day.
I got sunburnt.
What's a pity?
Hilarious.
Yeah, I feel like that the joke that totally misfired about the touching up the door. That's an easy one. I mean, couldn't they have just used a synonym for door that sounds a bit more raunchy? You know, like, oh, I'm just giving your entrance, your front entrance, a touch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I mean,
Also,
that's
it's
what they
just
were
that-
going for, but they just said door.
I feel like they just plotted this episode out and they're just like, oh, let's just throw in some lame humor at the beginning, trying to squeeze in as much as they can. This guy must have appeared at some point during season 1 to just make random puns and stuff.
Yeah, maybe it's his thing. Yeah, he should have a stronger accent, I think.
Oh, hello, sir.
Ah, Mr. Brown, welcome back.
Oh, Ty, is she in?
Oh, yes, I've cleaned out your bin.
No, is she in?
Oh, yes. She's in a shocking temper.
Oh, well, I'll see her later then.
Are you glad to be back?
Oh, yes, I shall miss my old class, but I'm looking forward to the challenge of starting again with fresh...
There seems to be some joke based around the fact that he says his L's as R's. Is that really happening, or is it just my imagination?
Is that a Cockney thing or something?
No, I've never come across it before. I think it might just be this guy has
He's
some
got a
sort of
lisp
slight
or
speech.
something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
some sort of lisp. Because he said, I'm pretty sure he said, "I'm glad you're back," and he said, "I've creamed out your bin." That was definitely a thing, though. Even though, I know the subtitle could get it wrong, but I think he actually did say that.
Hey, I mean, it's pretty good at least. You know, they're making fun of not just non-native English speakers with peculiar ways of speaking.
But also working class people with strong accents. Punching up, boys. Here we go.
Season 2 is just exceeding
I'm ready.
expectations. Yeah.
I wonder how many different nationalities I'll have to deal with this term. Good evening. Pleased to meet you. Well, thank you. Do you speak any English?
Hungry.
Hungry?
Igen.
Do you want something to eat?
Nem, hungry.
Oh, Hungarian.
Igen, Budapest, eh?
Right. Well, I'll put you in my register.
Bocsánat,
What is your name?
bocsánat.
Your name? Name, what is
Mi a nevem, angolul? Zoltán Szabó.
Zoltán Szabó.
Igen,
Yes.
bocsánat.
This is yes, and this is no.
Is? No.
Great. Right. I am Mr. Brown, your teacher.
Tanár úr.
He's got a lot of tools in his toolbox, doesn't he, Mr. Brown? I mean, he just has a way of communicating with students. It's just
It's
brilliant.
truly
He can say
inspirational.
anything.
This is yes. This is. I mean, there's worse ways to go about it. He could explain that if you nod your head forward, it's yes. If you move your head side to side, it's no. At least he's
Could be worse, yeah.
demonstrating.
just the fact that if there's like some sort of comprehension issue, he gets immediately frustrated, doesn't know what to do, and now he's following the student's lead, which is using the rubbishy little phrase book. It's like, what? Does he have no other way that he can demonstrate to him what he's saying? Like the board and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. But
there you go.
what about they've got their book here? I mean, it's kind of archaic, and now we would just whip out Google Translate or some other translation software. But have you ever had that with a student? Like trying to communicate to you using, like some sort of translation device as a full means of communication. I've had some students that kind of whip out a dictionary or a translator just because they're trying to find a specific word.
Yeah. I've had people in the real world communicate to me using the Google Translate thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in Japan it happened a fair few times actually.
Oh, really?
Someone would just, when they don't understand you, they just be like, oh, and they get you to speak into their phone.
Oh,
And then
really?
it says like, watashi wa nan desu ka, or whatever to them, and they're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Wow.
By the way, that was just nonsense that I said right there.
I-
That wasn't
I-
an actual phrase.
It's interesting that there's a custom for that in Japan, because a lot of the times, if I'm in a different country, I'm the person that's kind of doing that. So,
Right.
for them to be,
Yeah.
maybe I can whip out my phone.
Yeah.
And
Well, because they've got that, obligation to be super helpful and polite, I guess.
but they actually think about that. That's like one of the first things that they think about. Is interesting. That I can't think of many other cultures that do that. I'm not a huge fan of it in the classroom, to be honest, because what happens is, especially when you've got smaller classes, you have this one student that kind of just sidelines himself. They're like, oh, what is this one word? And they want to get that one word because that word is somehow going to make everything understood or clear, or I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they end up searching through the internet, playing with their phone or whatever for like 5 minutes trying to find it, and they've missed 5 minutes of class.
Yeah,
I mean, I always try to encourage them, just write it down, whatever word it is write it in your language, and then at the break time look it up, or bring it next class or something like that, because you're just wasting time. I wouldn't encourage. I don't encourage it at all.
I think for receptive, it can be all right. If there's a rather than asking, this is kind of like rather than saying, "Teacher, what does this mean?" They can just go, "Duh, duh, duh, duh." I don't really have a problem with that. I mean, why not? Because essentially, when someone says, "Teacher, what does this mean?" it's the teacher acting as a responsive dictionary anyway, which isn't maybe not the best use of the teacher's time.
Well, I think that's my point. Is it's not a best use of their time. They're in a class, and then they're spending time going through a dictionary. I mean, you're supposed to be following along this very well planned lesson that's timed to the second.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, if it is a really well planned lesson that's timed to the second, yeah. I guess you could argue there's an element of learner autonomy there, though, as well, where you're saying like, oh, they're getting comfortable with doing this. I mean, that would be the rationale, I suppose, if they were students that aren't doing that autonomously and aren't comfortable with using, for some reason, aren't comfortable with using the internet to look at words, then you could actually do some skills-based stuff on it. But in the case that they're doing it anyway, and they're quite happy to kind of go and look at words, then yeah, I guess there is a kind of is that the best thing they could be doing?
I think it's just another form of distraction. It's just they view many might view it as an educational distraction, but really you're looking at one word. That are you really going to use that again? Just make a note.
Yeah, well, you miss half.
You pay
of
for the class. Yeah.
Yeah, you miss half.
Use
of what
it
the teacher's
wisely.
saying or the group's saying, and then you've got to be like, "Get each other." what the hell did they say while I was messing around with my phone, looking up a stupid word? Yeah. All right, are we ready?
Nagyon örülök, hogy találkoztunk. Nekem nagyon fontos, hogy megtanulok angolul. Ebben az országban másként nem tudok érvényesülni. És maga olyan intelligensnek néz ki, hogy biztos vagyok benne, hogy gyorsan meg fog tanulni.
Well, I hope that was complimentary.
Bocsánat.
Never mind.
Bocsánat.
Look, do you know any English?
Beszélek angolul. Igen, yes. Good, shave the Q in.
Shave QE. God save the Queen.
Yes, more?
More? Some more English?
Please, thank you.
Good. Well done.
Stons.
Stons.
I can get no satisfaction.
Rolling Stones.
Yes.
Good. Well done.
Guten Abend, Herr Braun.
I'm most happy to be seeing you again.
Anna, Ranjit, what are you doing here?
We failed our exam, but we're coming back for more lessons.
That is correct. Like Robert de Bruce said.
Yeah, they failed those exams, so let's go back to the same class.
With the
Again.
absolute basic students mixed in with the people who can clearly have a conversation.
Were you not expecting us?
No, the authorities don't notify the individual teachers of the results. And as usual, Miss Courtney has kept me in the dark.
She switched the lights out.
Yeah. No, she never told me. This is Zoltan. Ranjit.
Delighted to be making your acquaintance. Ah, what a nice man. He's giving me a present.
No, he wants you to read out something from his phrase book.
1,000 apologies. Waiter, my soup is cold.
On this page, Ranjit.
Ah, pleased to meet you. Thank you.
Good. And this is Anna.
Why does he have to read from
Doesn't
that?
make any sense,
Because
does it?
Would you both like to sit down?
Yeah, this time I sit at the front. Then I shall be learning quicker.
Yeah, that's how it works. The closer you are to the teacher, the faster you learn.
I kind of like the German stereotype, to be honest. I shall be learning quicker at the front.
Bongbauer. 4 failures out of 10. Jamila, you failed.
Sorry, Master Ji. But maybe next time I am whining, huh?
I'm sure you mean winning.
Huh, huh.
And you, Taro?
Also, lots of face. Not good for Japanese.
I don't understand why they went with this. Like, I mean, why not just say that he's teaching them the next level? You know what I mean? Instead of being like, oh, they've all failed, so they've got to come back in. I don't know.
Yeah, they've also got to
It's a bit
retake the
weird.
same class with the teacher that helped them fail.
Yeah, the teachers
It's just-
wasted
yeah.
their time the first time round. Yeah. Oh.
Stop. Consider Harry Carrier. Then decide come back for more lessons. If no pass next time, act B.
Make sure you don't do it on the classroom floor.
Mildly culturally
You
insensitive.
are not alone. This is Zoltan. Jamila and Taro.
Pleased to meet you.
Good evening.
Jamila, you want your place back, yeah?
Nana, I sit at backside with Taro.
No, Jamila, you will sit at the back.
Well,
outside.
their English actually seems a little bit better from season 1, episode 1.
What I sit on?
Yeah, the
is
Sikh fella seems to have pretty good English, to be honest.
Yeah.
See why you failed.
Buenas noches, everybody.
My favourite.
Tell me you failed.
Sorry, I not tell you.
You don't need
Oh, you
to
can
tell
actually
me, I
speak
know.
English now.
Yeah.
You plenty smart.
Character arc.
There's more than I can say for you.
Por favor.
Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this is Zoltan. This is Juan.
How you do? For me, eh?
He's just trying to say that he's pleased to meet you. He doesn't speak any English.
Ah, sorry. I teach kids.
Might work better.
Fine.
Blind? You don't see?
Yes. What do you call that again? Learner, student to student learning.
Oh, the
or whatever?
LPL. I can't remember. It's German.
Oh, never mind.
I just say LPL.
Okay.
Eh?
I sit here.
Oh, here we go.
Did that cat just growl?
I come here to learn English.
We together sit?
No, we can't do that.
Oh, what is matter? There's wrong something with me?
No, there's wrong nothing with you.
I very much like you.
Yeah, well, I am your teacher.
Teacher? You're too young to be teacher.
Oh, thank you. Is that your name?
Yeah.
I take it you're Swedish?
Yeah.
They went all out with this one, didn't they? They were just like, you know what? We need to go full on season 2.
My God,
brilliant.
he's so 70s. He's just one step away from like Benny Hill just running around the.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, I mean, they did. The Spanish fellow was rubbing his hands when she walked
And going.
in. He's like,
And who walks around with their name on their T-shirt? Have you ever had a student,
so they can be
especially a woman or female student?
Rich, boys.
Well, no, come on, Rich. You're a guy, so obviously you're gonna have it on your trousers, right?
Indeed. Oh,
Holy smokes!
Marvelous. Okay, let's see where this goes.
Where from?
Stockholm.
Stockholm. And what is your job?
Au pair.
Which place? Oh, no. Well, where should we sit here?
Let's sit here with me.
There is also a place here beside me.
Now, here, please.
Here,
Yeah, well, I think we'll sit you at the front for the time being.
Ja, tack.
Yeah, well, you're sitting next to Juan, and behind you is Ranjit. At the back are Taro and Chula.
Is this the standard?
That's the standard greeting if you're Sikh, apparently.
Only not you as well. As well as what, please? You failed?
Oh, yes. But I'm getting 20 out of 100.
Well, it's nothing to be proud of. You should get at least 50 marks. To pass 20 is disgraceful.
Oh, no. Last year, I'm not getting anything at all. So I'm getting more and more better. I sit.
Yeah.
Squeeze, please. Please to get up.
What for?
That is my seat.
I not see name in seat.
Get your big...
Oh, this is good, isn't it? Authentic communication between the students in English.
Just wait, it's only between them. When they communicate with the teacher, it drops down a couple of levels.
No, well, that's enough. Seats are not reservable. Sit somewhere else, Harry.
Okay, I sit at the back. You big Spanish bull!
Come on. I will just wait a few more moments in case there are any more new students.
Buonasera!
Hey, it's just like old times.
Hey, it's a big surprise, eh, Professori?
Well, let's say it's more of a disappointment.
Oh, but I'm not disappointed to be back. Who's that?
This is...
She's also sitting in my seat. You will move, yes?
I will move, no.
You can come and sit next to me.
No, you sit next to me.
That's right. You sit next to Giovanni and Max, because I want to sit here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Danielle, but I think it's important that new students should sit at the front.
Why?
I don't like you.
I'm so very.
You can come and sit next to me.
The Spanish fella's not a new student. Oh, but he means the Swedish girl
The
and
Swedish,
the
yeah.
Hungarian, right?
Well, that's how
Is
they
it-
learn faster.
Yeah. Is it just me, or does Danielle no longer have a French accent? Wasn't she supposed to be French?
Yeah,
She's
she's
just like-
she was French. I kind of detected one, but
Really?
it was
Okay.
because she was speaking so well.
Yeah.
It's hard to hear.
Okay. All right. These are like the cool kids, aren't they?
I guess so. One was
well, like that's
Italian,
what
one
it
was
seems to be. You know?
Greek,
It's
if
like
I remember.
the two cool guys and the I don't know the alpha female or something. I don't know. That's what because they kind of waltzed in as well, you know, with all their like fashionable jackets and stuff.
Yeah.
I almost expect like Grease Lightning to start playing or something. Okay.
Hey, sit between us.
Okay.
Wasn't there a Chinese girl as well?
There was actually
It's
with
not
the
your
little
fault,
red book.
Professori. We not pass because we're stupid.
And what does that make me?
Oh, can you imagine that? You do a class with some students for a year, they all fail, all come back to the class, they're like, "You're a great teacher, we're just stupid." Is this written by teachers, this program, by any chance?
And more stupid.
Exactly. Out of 10 students, I have 9 failures.
Really sorry, I'm
Congratulations. You're getting 10 out of 10.
Very good.
Okay, let's get into actually some teaching.
Oh.
know what to say.
It's got the alphabet on the board.
If you're not knowing what to say, how are you going to be teaching us?
I'll ignore that stupid remark.
Jolly good.
Because you...
Also, it would have sucked if they did pass, eh? You would have only had 2 students.
Well, you know, you can do more stuff, more one-on-one teaching with them. That, you know, they might get a bit of benefit. I presume he's going to get paid. He doesn't get paid by the amount of students he has, but by the time.
Yeah, well, personally, I think you should get paid more for teaching 2 students. I mean, it's a hell of a lot more engagement on the teacher's behalf, isn't it? You know, because you have to constantly be on, unless you're just constantly getting those 2 students to do pair work. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
The whole point about the class is that you have all these classroom dynamics. You know, yeah. Okay.
You have all failed. I have failed. No. It's perfectly true. Now, this term, I want much more effort from all of you. You must all pull your socks up.
All right.
Oh my God.
And I was speaking...
A lot of this program's humour is based around idioms being taken literally, isn't it?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, man. He also seems to be a bit of a contradiction there. He's like, because you've all failed, I failed. And then he's like, so I want you all to work harder. It's like, wait a minute, how does that work? Have you failed or have they failed?
Yeah, really, he should be saying, I'm going to work harder.
Yeah, exactly.
You work harder with me. No, that's not how it works. But and why is he using idioms anyway? Do you know, like if he's talking to them, he should be trying to grade his language.
I wonder if anyone was ever like that. Any real English teachers, even back in the day, where it's like that, like literally they're just speaking to people totally normally. Okay, I'm going to teach you English now. Come on, pull your socks up and let's get going. You know, class 1.
I could believe that. I could believe that totally.
Yeah.
Never mind. You must all concentrate much harder this term. Now we shall start at the beginning again. Only this term I shall be giving you twice as much homework as last. And I want 100% effort from all of you. Right. Now tonight, I thought we'd start by you each telling me what you've been doing during the holidays.
Please.
Yes, Sultan. I do not understand what you are saying. Well, never mind. Just keep quiet and listen.
Bocsánat.
Never mind.
Bocsánat.
Un momentito. I speak.
Bocsánat.
No, bocsánat. No speak.
Thank you, Mike.
Sorry.
There we go, a bit of behavioural management there. He's got the students well trained.
Peer discipline.
Yes, what did he do? He threatened to break some bone or something?
A contention with that though is that it's not prompted by the teacher. You know, like the teacher's not assigned him that role as being the class leader. You know, like when you're teaching kids and stuff, it's not like a rotating role. He took it upon himself, so it's almost kind of like you know, they see how incompetent the teacher is, so they're doing stuff that the teacher should be doing. You know, like when your cat brings you, you know, a bird, it's basically saying that he doesn't think you can take care of yourself. That's what they're doing now. They don't think you can manage the classroom.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. Plus the fact that it's kind of a genuine question. I mean, really, the problem here is he's in totally the wrong level, isn't it? But yeah, you know, it's an authentic question, and the way that it's been dealt with is sit down or else, I don't know, some veiled threat.
Yeah. Come on,
like,
you're gonna tell me about.
Shut up.
You got to tell me about your holidays, but first I'm gonna point to the alphabet.
Right, now what have you been doing with yourself, Jamila?
Master Ji, I went on holidays to visit all my family.
Ah, you went to Bombay?
Bombay? No, Birmingham.
You did the accent.
Birmingham, the Mecca of the Midlands. And you?
The Mecca of the Midlands. Also, isn't she Indian? Like, what's all this about Mecca?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Am I getting something mixed up here?
Hey, come on, he's racist.
No, her name's
not intelligent.
Jamali, so she's got to be. She's surely going to be Indian, and yeah, Mecca of the Midlands. What?
Well, what did you get up to?
I went on a fishing holiday.
Oh, good. Did you catch anything?
Catch heavy cold.
Did you enjoy your break, Ali?
I'm not breaking anything.
Your holiday.
Poor, wasn't it?
Oh, jolly good. I'm learning how to be driving a motor car.
Good. That's very useful. When do you take your test?
Oh, blimey. I'm already failing my test. The examiner man was jumping out of the car. And I was going down a hilly.
I expect you were going too fast.
Oh, no. I was going backwards.
Right, what did you do, Suli?
Spent time lighting.
Lighting what?
Lighting book.
Oh, a book. What sort of book are you writing?
It's called The Democratic Way of Life. All about glorious freedom-loving Chinese.
I see. A work of fiction. Tell us what you did with yourself.
Oh my God! He told
that.
He told that one so deadpan as well, wasn't he? He was like, you can see the actor. He's like, I see a work of fiction. It's like, all right.
This episode, I've noticed that he's been doing a lot more of the wandering accent. I don't know what the technical term is. Do you know where he's mimicking what they're saying accidentally? You know, like lighting, writing. I think he was doing it with a Swedish girl as well.
Yeah.
Do you ever have that, or have you ever come across that? Is it a term?
There's a term for that in teaching, isn't there? Only the one that's more common in teaching is that I think it's called echoing, and when they say something, you echo back a correction. I think it's something that's kind of discouraged because it doesn't really work that well, and it's on the spot as well, which is not really the best sort of correction for most activities anyway. But yeah, it's when someone will say something like, like she was getting her L's and I'm lighting a book, and then he would say, oh, you're writing a book, right? That would be echoing. And there's some teachers that do that a lot, and it's kind of it's debatable how useful it is. I think it might have some use sometimes. Sometimes students like it as well. They kind of get into that, but
yeah, it's actually something you're supposed to do with child development.
Right,
because they initially when they're speaking, they're not saying the full words. Like they might say burr instead of bird. So you say, oh, you see a bird.
Oh, the bird,
yeah, but. So I can kind of see how it would lend itself to language speaking, but I guess the issue people might have would be like if you're kind of saying it and kind of like enforcing them to kind of repeat it, like no, writing, right, when it's that. But if you're just kind of giving it back to them as an accurate representation, I don't see why that's that much of a deal.
Yeah, I don't think it's much of a deal. I think it's arguable either way.
Do you ever do that?
Echoing. I do, but
I mean,
as I said,
confuse the words. You end up speaking.
Let's say I'm lighting a book.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, as soon as students say stuff, I just think it's right. I'll tell you something that does kind of happen, and. Not so much when I'm speaking, but sometimes if I'm writing a message, I'll write a text message and I'll make mistakes that students make because my brain somehow knows it's more efficient. Like what you do tomorrow. You just write it quickly in the text message. What you do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Even though it's totally grammatically awful, and in the past I wouldn't have done that, but it's only because I know it's the kind of thing that sometimes students will say. It's kind of stuck in my head, and my head just thinks that's more efficient. You need to write a quick message, right? What you do tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I mean it makes sense. I mean, like we do it as native speakers. Like literally, I might just send a message saying tomorrow ?
Yeah, right. That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point. But I
That's the
used to be
point of
quite,
text language, yeah.
I used to be quite anal about that stuff. That's the thing. I used to like really want my text messages to also be correct. This was before I was a teacher. I just had a thing about it. But now I can be more accepting of it. So that's something that's kind of happened.
Do you ever correct native speakers? Because sometimes I find myself correcting native speakers as well, when not just with writing but with speaking, especially when it's what the way they're saying something I think is unclear. Trying to think of a good example, like someone using this or that, and they don't point, and I'm like, what do you mean, this thing or that thing? Because
well, I think to some extent being a language teacher makes you a better communicator in general, doesn't it? So it might just be some of those teaching skills coming through, and you're just trying to clarify problems with communication.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily say that that's an issue or you're correcting them, but maybe you're just trying to get to the bottom of the communicative issue that you're having.
It's a fine balance, because you are wanting to communicate as fast as possible, by just going tomorrow, question mark, but also, there's a reason why we have these rules, because it leaves, ambiguity, and that leads to confusion and stuff like that. Yeah, it's an interesting balance sometimes with what you can strip away and what is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, and I think a lot of that also it gets deeper beyond vocabulary when you start getting into connected speech and sentence stress and all that. And what you tend to find is that the more you're in rapport, the more context the other person has, and we're forever thinking, what does the other person know about what I'm about to say? We do it almost subconsciously, but you can access it if you think about it. And the more assumptions I can make about that, like the more I think, oh, Neil knows exactly what I'm about to say, he knows the context I'm talking about, the quicker I can kind of talk, because I can just muddle things up. And I was actually explaining this to a student today. We were talking a bit about it, and I was introducing him to the ideas of word chunks and thinking in terms of phrases rather than individual words. And I was talking about, I always like to use things like, do you want a cup of tea? Right, and it split it into two word chunks. You've got do you wanna and a cup of tea, right? And I kind of pointed out to him, if I said that to someone in the kitchen, I just threw it out to someone and said, oh, do you want a cup of tea? I could say it really fast. Do you want a cup of tea? And they really just need to hear one and cup of tea, and they'll know exactly what all the whole phrases that I said. They can assume that I said that I'm asking them, oh, but I can't really hear the pronoun. Is it do you wanna, or does he wanna, or did she wanna, or no. I'm pretty sure he's asking me, do you want to? So I can make that assumption. And then I also pointed out the fact that, let's say, for example, I was going to say, do you want a cup of teeth, right? I would almost certainly slow down and hit teeth long, and because my brain knows that if I say, do you want a cup of teeth? And I mean a cup of teeth, right? That if I say it fast, you'll think I said a cup of tea. Yeah. Because your brain as well will pick it up and go, oh, do you want a cup of teeth? Oh, tea? Yes, please. No, a cup of teeth. So probably when I it's a stupid
because you're like,
thing to
this
ask,
is strange, right?
Yeah, but the point is, when you're saying something that contextually makes less sense, we slow down and we emphasize the pronunciation more. So yeah,
it's very interesting that you raised that point, and it's something that I am very familiar with right now, because I'm in Canada, and a lot of my context is not the same.
Right, yeah.
So sometimes I can't speak, or I know I can't speak fast because previously I've spoke fast with saying some sentence, and I'm like, what the hell? And it might be the way that I've chunked it, or it could be a certain word that I've used, but it completely throws them off. And throw into the fact as well that I'm often around non-native speakers as well within Canada. It's a bit of a minefield sometimes, yeah. So it's it's really interesting that sometimes you have to consciously think of that, and I think that's one of the things that contributes to when you're like working outside of your own native country, contributes to like homesickness, stuff like that, is you don't have that fluidity of communication, and you're just like
and it takes so much more effort, because all the time you're having to think, how can I explain this to these people? What do I know about their context and this context, and what can I assume that they know? So it's like your brain is like working a lot harder than it normally would in communication with someone you're familiar with. Yeah,
and I would even go as far as to say, communicating with people with almost different personalities or just interests. So if someone's deeply entrenched within gaming community, and then you're talking to someone outside of that, and you're throwing out these words, and you're like, oh, this would kill if I said this way in the gaming community, but then you repeat that outside in someone that's more of a fitness-based person or something like that, and it's just like, oh, that would have been really funny if there was some gaming people here.
Yeah, totally. You can test yourself on these things as well, can't you? Like if you were in a situation where you're speaking really fast to someone, a special interest group. So let's say you've got your gaming friends, if you're into gaming or whatever, and you're having some conversation, speaking quite fast. If you easily pay attention to that and think, what if I changed all of these people for like 5 random members of my family who don't know anything about gaming? They'll be like, what the hell is everyone talking about? You know what I mean? And you could do that in all kinds of different situations. This is how important context is. It took me a long time to get to that. I remember, like, when you're learning to be a teacher, they're always going on about context. You're like, what's context? What? I need to have a little picture in a stupid article for the students to be able to learn the present perfect. Is that what context is? But when you really get into it, it is. Context is really everything, isn't it? It's like to get meaning, you need context. And the more context you have, the easier it is to get the meaning, which is the whole point.
But then there's the issue with, say you give a context, they're having a conversation, and there's a marriage, and it's that people are two married people conversing. You also have to be aware that the context of what you think a marriage person, people in a marriage are having a conversation, what that would be for you compared to someone, say, from China or from Saudi Arabia or something like that, because that conversation might be very different. You understand what I mean? Because the cultural context for what a marriage is and the dynamic in that is very different. So
to some extent, that sounds like what you're talking about with Canada now. It's the cultural difference. That's a big issue between Britain and Canada.
Yeah, Britain, Canada, between people, non-native speakers from different countries, but also different personalities and interests. The people throwing out, they're heavily entrenched in, like rap culture or something like that. They might throw out a couple of words and you're like, oh, I don't know that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I thought maybe you're talking about that, and it made me realize that I think that's happened with me as well. Like someone dropping like an N-bomb or something, like because they're so used to it being in the songs. Because I think you give that example, and I've started to think that I have experienced something like that.
Oh yeah, when I was talking about one of my
you had a
Chinese
student
who
was really into rap music or something.
Yeah, and he just didn't think about it at all. But that, I guess, he didn't understand the context. Because the context in rap with that word is not always with the heavy entrenched racism. It's just kind of like saying bro almost. That's my problem. I don't really listen to that sort of stuff either. So
that's true. It's an American thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I definitely don't get it. I mean, on Joe Rogan the other day, there was a couple of dudes on there. Who was it? I think it was might have been Dave Chappelle.
Chappelle and Rawlings.
Yeah,
Donnell.
a couple of M-bombs got dropped during that, you know, and they seemed totally fine with saying it on the radio and whatever,
Yeah.
you know, and in quite ambiguous ways as well, you know. Yeah, there's a whole sorts of weird things going on with that. So I could definitely forgive a student for throwing it out there and not understanding, you know, the social, what kind of social judgments other people might make from the fact that they've uttered a word that they don't think they should be saying.
I'm somewhat surprised that that word doesn't appear more in Mind Your Language at some point. In fact, why is there no one representative from?
It's never really been a bit of in the British lexicon, though, is it?
No,
you know, it's not really. It's more of a US thing.
Yeah, which I guess a lot of people don't understand because, you know, there's a lot of white people in Britain, there's a lot of white people in America, but there's a presumption because you're just kind of like, oh, same skin color, that, you know, you would have the same vocabulary, but obviously, you know, we have different ways of speaking, different, like, as we're talking about, different contexts, so it's like it doesn't, you know, with like the C word as well, you know, that's thrown around like the N word, But we throw that around. But you say that over here. You say that over here in Canada or in North America. They're like,
oh really? I just thought it was the other way around.
No,
I thought they were a lot more like they can just throw that around a bit. Okay, all right, fair enough.
No, I've seen it thrown around more in the UK, especially among, you know, like when you're among friends or that sort of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I wonder if we're actually going to see any teaching today.
We're almost there, aren't we? Surely he's gonna dive right into it in a moment.
Halfway through that episode, not even. Okay. Just saying they paid for this. These students that failed.
I have been looking after my cousin while her husband has been away.
Oh, that's very commendable.
He is being discharged this week.
Discharged? Has he been in hospital?
No, prison. And he's been sent to prison for something he didn't do.
Really? What didn't he do?
He didn't run fast enough.
Tell us what you did, Giovanni.
That might be the best joke of this entire episode. I just had a thought then while he was speaking, the Sikh fella.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought I sort of understand the actors who are in this program, because I think from their perspective they're very much like taking the piss out of their English teacher. Right. I think that's definitely the way they see it, because I'm sure they actually have a lot better English than this, right? And it's kind of fun to like mimic your own accent sometimes. You know, I do it with the Liverpool one sometimes. Like, do you want to go down the pub for a few bevies? You know, it's kind of fun to do that, isn't it? And that's what these actors are doing. And then they're doing it in this way. You can kind of see something in their eyes that they're enjoying, sort of taking the piss out of the English teacher.
Well, it's fun as well because you're aware of the stereotypes that your culture has as well. You know, like I'm acutely aware in Canada of, you know, what the idea that people have of like British people. So you can kind of play around with that and you can play it up. And when you do play it up, people are like, that's what I imagine British people to be like. Like this guy.
I went to Marsgate.
Margate?
No, scusi. I met this fantastic girl. She had the biggest...
We all get your meaning.
Every day, we used to go on the sands for a bit.
For a while.
Scusi?
To go on the sands for a while. To say that you went on the sands for a bit could imply that you were doing, well, something naughty.
That's right, we were very naughty on the sands.
Right. Oh, thank you, Sid. Well, I suggest you all take an early tea break and we continue with this later.
It specifically says a tea break.
So they're very touchy, aren't they? Like, I noticed them doing it with the other girl before, like hands all over their waists and stuff, you know? I don't think you'd see any of that today, would you?
No.
Well, I don't know. It was all kinds of different people doing it.
Please.
Yes, Sultan. Look, no, you really must start to speak. Speak. You.
What?
Go.
What the?
Yes, please.
That was terrible. That was really terrible, no? And the fact the teacher got it as well. Oh, you mean girl?
Could have been Snowman, yeah.
Yeah.
You're not a girl. You.
Oh no, don't do it again.
Oh, God.
Ah, you have a girlfriend.
Girl.
I understand.
English.
What? An English girlfriend?
You.
Me? Right. Oh, you want me to
How
write
did he get
a
that?
letter to your girlfriend?
Please.
Ah. What do you want me to write?
Bocsánat.
Yes. What I write.
Hogy mit írjon a nőnek?
Hey,
Azt,
use
hogy
the board
ilyen
to
gyönyörű
communicate.
Yeah.
That's what you should
Well,
have
he's
done
learning
about
some new
half an hour ago.
tricks. Season 2. Ramping it up.
Életemben nem találkoztak, és szeretném megcsókolni, és elvinni egy vendéglőbe, ahol van egy kis cigányzene, és jó magyar bor, és megmutatnám neki, hogy milyen az igazi magyar férfi.
Does he?
I think I get the general idea.
No, I think I get the general idea.
Sydney?
Oh, come on. We have 5 minutes they need to fill up or something.
Yes, Miss Courtney.
Did you tell Mr. Brown that I wish to see him?
Oh, yes, definitely.
I think this should be all right. Dear Miss, I'm writing to tell you of my feelings for you. I think you are beautiful. I want to hold you in my arms and kiss you. Please say you feel the same about me. All my love.
Thank you.
What is going on in here?
Oh, nothing.
Well, it certainly doesn't look like nothing.
Ah, well, I was just writing a letter for Zoltan to his girlfriend, and he was showing me his appreciation in Hungarian.
Kindly leave us.
Bocsánat.
Go. I said go. Go. Now, Mr. Brown.
I wonder what
I
you want.
understand that none of your previous students passed.
Oh, he's going to be
Oh,
fired.
the Cambridge certificate. The Cambridge. I wonder if they're referring to the Cambridge proficiency.
Yeah,
I think
that's what I was thinking.
The proficiency was the first one that existed, and then they went backwards. So Cambridge proficiency was the first one. Then they got advanced. Then they did first certificate. Then they did PET. And if it is the Cambridge proficiency, obviously none of them are anywhere near that. So.
That's not enough.
Obviously,
You're
Mr. Brown,
fired.
you are sounding
End of
nothing
season 2.
the qualities required to
Not just a
don't interrupt. I shall be keeping a very close eye on you this term, Mr. Brown, and unless I see a marked improvement, out you go. I have no wish to listen to your feeble excuses.
Pompous old cow.
What was that?
Oh, I'm just going now.
She's kind of right, though, as well.
Yeah. Oh, they're actually having tea on tea break.
Nothing? He's not knowing the English as well as what we are knowing.
I speak with him.
Oh, blimey. He speak Hungarian.
Sure, I speak a Danarian.
Football. Igen, futball.
Puskas.
Pele.
Kempes.
Beckenbauer.
Bobby Lee Shelton.
Bobby Lee Moore.
You see, I told you I speak the language.
Hey, you like England, no?
Yeah, I also very much like teacher.
You not make the eyes at Monsieur Brown.
If
Make
I
the
want, I
eye.
will.
Monsieur Brown does not like the blonde ladies.
Swedish girl are beautiful, yes.
Trouble with Swedish girl, they are too big in the bosom.
Too big in the mouth.
In China, rules are not important. It is brains and intellect that matter.
Absolument.
Yeah, Sully is right. We women are not symbols for sex. You agree, Jamila?
I know understanding.
We women are not here to give the men the pleasure.
I like give men pleasure.
Trying to find a few winners.
Ah, no, Mr. Brown, just trying to find out if I can afford to leave the wife.
Pardon?
Premium bonds. £100,000. I could be lucky. Somebody's got to win it.
How many bonds have you got?
One.
You're as bad as me. I've only got one. 1FF23232.
You got a good memory, ain't you?
Ah, it's not a difficult one.
1FF23232.
That's right.
Hey, that's it.
That's what?
1FF23232.
I don't believe it.
Here, you sure you got the right cucumber?
Cucumber?
The number!
Yes, I've got my bond here. I'm positive. Look, 1FF23232.
That's right. £100,000. What are you going to do with it?
What am I going to do? Celebrate, of course. Gladys.
Yes, Mr. Brown.
It's all right.
That was a good one. Coffee's
Right. Quiet, everybody. Listen. I want to read you all my letter of resignation. No. With £100,000, I no longer...
With £100,000, I no longer need to teach English. That's it.
Yeah, so we know it's not.
Bonds?
And who knows the premium bonds of the Dear Dracula?
Oh.
He's going on completely bitchy.
This is going to go horribly wrong, isn't it?
Dear Dracula, this is to inform you that I think you are a rude, obnoxious, and self-opinionated old dragon. And if ever I see you again, it'll be too soon. Yours disrespectfully, Jeremy Brown. Right, Ali.
Yes, please.
Do me a favour and see that Miss Courtney gets this straight away.
Jolly good.
Thank you.
Please.
Oh, yes, well done, your letter. Yeah?
Oh, they get them mixed up.
Of course.
Right, Gladys, where's Sid's paper?
Oh, he went with it, took it with him.
Took it with him?
I got a paper, Mr. Brown.
Oh, great, Max, thank you. There we are. Ernie's lucky winner, £100,000. And today's number is 1EF2323. Wait a minute, that's not right. 1EF, it was 1FF in the other one. We apologise for the misprinted our earlier edition. I haven't won anything.
So you will not be resignating after all?
Resigning.
Oh.
Letter to Miss... Hello, please. Ali, the letter to Miss Courtney. She's not in the office. Oh, thank God.
Mr. Brown, Mr. Nadine, did you wish to see me?
No.
Oh, yes, please. This is for you.
Thank you very much. I want another word with you, Mr. Brown. Come into the office.
Obviously, Zoltan's girlfriend's letter.
I'll just see what this letter is first.
Oh, I shouldn't bother if I were you. You never know where it's been. It could be full of germs.
Oh, don't be so ridiculous. You know, I seem to recognise this writing. It looks remarkably like yours, Mr. Brown.
Oh, it's nothing like mine. It just looks like mine.
Oh, well, I better admit it.
I think I'll go.
I haven't finished with you yet.
You will have when you've read that letter.
I beg your pardon.
Nothing.
Good heavens.
Miss Courtney,
I have never read anything like this in my life.
I can explain.
Just listen to this.
I'd rather not.
Dear Miss, I am writing to tell you of my feelings for you.
You see, I thought I'd won it.
I want to hold you in my arms and kiss you. You did write this letter, Mr. Brown.
Ah, yeah, well, not to you.
But it's the letter you were writing for that Hungarian student.
Yes, you see, what must have happened?
You don't need to go on. I mean, it's obvious he's been smitten by my charm. It believes him. I have told you before, Mr. Brown, that I do have this strange fascination for the opposite sex.
Oh, yes. Very strange.
You may not believe this, Mr. Brown, but when I was a young girl, I was very plain.
What?
Cup of tea, please, Gladys.
Everything okay, Mr. Brown?
Yes, I must have put Zoltan's letter to his girlfriend in my envelope to Miss Courtney.
Hey, he's not gonna be very happy.
Why not?
He's just going to give the letter you write to Miss Courtney to his girlfriend.
I can't believe they needed to explain
Oh,
that.
Jesus.
Well, there you go, I suppose.
Yeah. Absolutely no teaching done within that episode. Nothing useful that we can derive anything from.
No, definitely
and
not.
I don't think they're going to pass this test, you know, this time around either. Not if that's the rate it's going to go on.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there's 4 seasons of this thing, so.
Is there? Holy smokes!
Can they really just fail every season? So, I felt like I don't know. I kind of weirdly enjoyed that more than the previous episodes. Obviously there's some really nasty stuff in there, really, and there's lots of cringy stuff, but there was some quite funny moments as well. So I don't know, and also I don't know. This is a weird thing to say. I'm sort of warming to the characters.
Oh, I wish my class was like this.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's funny, right? But there you go. Yeah.
It's an interesting dynamic,
language.
and it's an interesting look into the 1970s to 50 years ago of how it not how it was, but how it was presented to the public. Yeah, it's pretty. I think I said the last episode around. You know, there was a lot of for all the criticisms of the cliches and the stereotypes and, you know, the sometimes blatant racism. These were actually people of descent from, you know, like the Indian girl was of Indian descent, the Japanese guy, I'm not sure if he was Japanese, but he was, you know, like there was representations on mainstream TV, even if they weren't, you know, very nice representations.
Yeah.
Rome's not built in a day, so I guess, you know, this was kind of the starting point to how it is now, with a lot more multiculturalism, and just because, you know, you look a certain way, you could be any culture.
It could certainly be a lot worse. You know, yeah. I think some of the sort of sexism is probably the worst.
It's the worst part, definitely.
But I don't feel like no one's they're not like really nasty. Like, they're
it's not malicious.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're not saying like, oh, if, you know, people from this country are stupid or anything like that. Isn't really coming out. It's more that they've all got these kind of you know, slightly less than desirable character traits, aren't they? Like you know, they just want to talk about football and girls, or, you know, whatever. So yeah,
I just don't know what they see in this teacher. He's just absolutely awful. They're spending so much money to do nothing.
Well. They don't just tolerate him or like him. They actually love him. All the girls fancy him.
I mean, probably we've missed out on a bunch of episodes where he's just done some great teaching or something like that. No, actually, no, probably not, because, you know, they all failed that exam, so.
We've missed out on some episodes where something's happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can quickly go over his lesson plan. There wasn't one. He at some point wrote the alphabet on the board, then pointed it like one time, and then asked them how their holiday was, and that was it. That was the lesson for the day.
He didn't even ask them how their holiday was. He asked them in a really weird way, didn't he? He said something like, "What have you got up to?" or what have you you know, he didn't say like, "What did you do this holiday?" like some simple question. He said it in like a kind of a, I don't know, almost a phrasal way. I can't remember exactly what he said. Yeah, I just double checked actually to see whether the new actress was actually Swedish. She is. So it does seem like they do generally conform to this idea that, you know, the people from those countries are actually genuinely played by people from those countries. Which, yeah, I mean, that's interesting, I guess, in a way. I don't know if that should be important or not, but it says something at least for the attempt at some sort of cultural awareness, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's moving the needle in the right direction. It's a step away from what's his name in the Breakfast at Tiffany's, the white guy, was it Jack Lemmon or Richard Curtis that dressed up as a Japanese guy or whatever? And it was just terrible.
I've never seen it.
Oh, you don't want to see it. It's just awful. It's so bad.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a little bit. Yeah, I don't know why I feel like I'm apologising for it. I should.
We did have a pretty good discussion there in the middle about cultural context as well, and context in general, which I thought was pretty good. So it's funny how these things, even though the teaching is absolutely useless, some sort of interesting teaching related discussion can come out of it.
Yeah, and it lends itself, especially when there's different cultural backgrounds. There's always stuff that comes up that you can kind of talk about as well, because there is that dynamic within a class. There is confusion between different cultures, so in that respect it represents a multicultural class not that badly. There's often misunderstandings, but I think it's good that the teacher's generally the butt of the jokes, and he's just the straight guy that's setting up all the other students to do these gags, these one-liners. I kind of like that dynamic.
Yeah. All right.
So
yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth. We'll definitely return to our fan favorite, and I want to see the development of these characters.
Yeah, I mean, we can maybe watch the next episode.
What T-shirt will the
features.
Swedish lady be wearing next class?
I wonder if she's going to wear that every class.
Dear me.
But there's some interesting stuff with the T-shirts, because I do know plenty of backpacker teachers or backpackers that have you can buy T-shirts where you have the symbols on them, and it helps with communication. When you're not able
really?
to, yeah. So you go around, but it's more for when you're traveling around. You can point to the symbol of the washroom. You'd be like, washroom.
Okay. That's interesting. I've never come across that.
Yeah, I had a book at one point, like a small wallet book that you could flip, and it had pictures of certain stuff, like toothpaste and stuff like that for when you're traveling around. That makes a good idea. And as a teacher, I don't think it's necessarily that bad of an idea. When you're first starting to have something, maybe something like that. Maybe that could be the theme, a new teaching method. You wear the lesson plan. You wear the grammar point so you don't have to board it, saving time, and that's what we're all about.
You could wear something that says something like vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, something else, and then if you are doing on the spot error correction, you point.
Yeah. Yeah, all the most common errors, pronunciation, connected speech, authentic. Yeah, why not? And those ones are going to come to our merchandise pretty soon. Yeah. So leave comments if you're looking for some merch like that, along with the Rough and Ready Rich, which is going to be the first stuff that comes out there. We've not forgot about that. But do you have any final thoughts?
Well, additional thought, which I didn't really cover while we were watching, was that it does sort of have a feel of a language school, at least. Mm-hmm. With the classroom and the corridor and the cafeteria. Mm-hmm. It kind of made me think of a language school in a weird way. Some the big ones do have that sort of thing going on, don't they? Mm-hmm. So that was a thing. But yeah, any final thoughts? Not really. Looking forward to the next one.
If you're wanting us to watch another episode of Mind Your Language, I mean, we can skip to season 3. We can watch the next episode of Mind Your Language, season 2, episode 2. you're going to have to leave a comment, because we're not going to do this unless you engage, unless you let us know. Because
we need an excuse.
We do. We really do need an excuse to keep watching this, because it's
quite tangential to the aims of the channel.
Yeah, because we're hoping to actually see some actual teaching and provide our ideas and try and get people to connect more with the education world of English language teaching. So you've really got to help and leave these comments, so we know, and we're happy to do these fun episodes. It's nice sometimes to take a break. But please, if you do want to see more, leave a comment, and leave comments specifically on what you would like to see more, like Mind Your Language, or more Mind Your Language Season 3, Season 2, Episode 2, or do you want us to go back, keep that non-linear going on? Whatever you want. But I'm Neil, teacher of Team Teacher. I've got a whole bunch of PowerPoint lessons, games on teachchina.com, and videos to accompany them on Teaching English on Team Teacher China YouTube channel. I've got Team Teacher Baby, where I have videos of me with my child as I'm teaching them, and my journey with that, and Team Teacher English, where those PowerPoint lessons I mentioned are put into videos for homeschool lessons, or you can give us homework if you're a teacher, and they're pretty fun, short, and interesting for kids. And then we have a reach.
So you can find English teaching videos youtube.com/Professor Reach, and then you can find gaming videos at youtube.com. Wait, no, you can't. I don't have a special link for that one. But if you search for Prof Rich Gaming, then at some point in the future, you'll find that it exists. It's just private.
Wow, it's in the process, kids. It's out there. It's in the ether. It's coming, and you don't know what's going to happen.
The best channel to learn about English language teaching, sort of. No, not really. It's gaming. It's just going to be Prof Rich Gaming. Yeah. Hoping to play the video game of Mind Your Language.
Maybe develop that.
No, I don't think it ever came out.
That's such a shame. Such a shame.
I know, we missed a trick.
Yeah. Okay, so we're signing off. Goodbye, y'all, and see you later.